So one of the things that can help us out is understanding divisibility rules. So when numbers are divisible by 2, then essentially the last digit is even. So examples of that would be any number that ends in 2, 4, 6, 8, and let's not forget 0. So 1,440, 256. So as long as the number ends in an even value, then it is divisible by 2. For 3, you have to add up the numbers. So if the digits are divisible by 3, if you add them up and you can divide that by 3, then the whole thing is divisible by 3. So let's look for example 156. If I add 1 plus 5 plus 6, I get 12. Since 12 divides by 3, that means 156 also divides by 3. So essentially that's divisible by 3. If you can add them up and divide by 3 evenly. For 4, it has to be the last 2 digits. So for 4, you pretty much stop at a certain point. So we can say 0, 4, 0, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, and then after that it gets a little problematic because the numbers start getting larger. But I can also say, so the one on the top, 1, 4, 40, since 40 divides by 4, then 1440 also divides by 4. 5 is usually easy. 5 is it ends in a 0 or a 5. So 1650, 1475. Try that 5 again. 5, and that essentially those both divide by 5. So those are the main 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you should know those because usually one of those will work. Or those are easily checked. So let's scroll this up. Usually 6 I do not worry about. So 6 is if it's divisible by 2 and by 3. So since you have to say, hey, 2 and 3, I usually don't worry about this one. Because usually you've then already divided it by 2 and by 3. And so there you go. Same thing for 8. 8 gets, you have to do the last 3 digits and it just gets harder. So 0, 0, 8, 0, 1, 6, 0, 2, 4. And at that point, you might as well just divide by 4 and go from there. So I usually don't worry about 8 either. 9, if I can divide the digits by 9. So 9 is, if I have, let's see, 1, 6, 5, 6. See if I did that right. So 1 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6. That's 7 plus 11. That's 18. So since 18 divides by 9, then 1656 also divides by 9. Okay, sometimes I'll do 9. Since you're adding up to see if it divides by 3 anyway, if you can easily see it divides by 9, you might as well just go with 9. 10, the last digit is 0. So 1440, 2560. If it ends in 0, it divides by 10. You should notice that there are, essentially we skipped 7. 7 is prime, and when you start getting the prime sets, they're a little more difficult. So prime numbers, 2 is prime, 3 is prime, 5 is prime. We had those divisibility rules. When you start getting past that, it gets a little problematic. So prime number, so essentially divides by 1 and itself only. So we have 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, no, 10, no, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, and so on. On divisibility rules, if it doesn't divide by 2 or 4, any of these first 3. So for divisibility rules, by these, okay, then essentially you're starting to look at prime sets. So if you can't get any of the first up through 10, then you start looking at 7, 11, 13, 7, 11. So 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, and just see if you get any of the bigger numbers. But generally, most numbers will divide by one of the smaller sets, or otherwise, sometimes you're even looking at a prime set. So that's the first part of the homework, is determining what numbers are divisible by what values. And here are your basic rules.